Formula One heads to its last European race of 2023. It's the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. So after this race here at Monza, we head off in 2 weeks' time to Singapore on a revised layout. Then it's Japan, followed by a sprint race at Qatar and the Circuit of the Americas, before Mexico, and then a final sprint in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Las Vegas on the 18th of November, and then the season rounds out the 26th of November in Abu Dhabi. Max Verstappen leads the championship on 339 points. Sergio Perez is on 201. Fernando Alonso 168, followed then by Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Lando Norris, Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly rounds out the top 10, and Esteban Ocon on 36 points in 11th. On the second half of the page, Oscar Piastri, same amount of points as Esteban Ocon in 12th, followed then by Alexander Albon. Then it's Hülkenberg and Bottas, Zhou ahead of Tsunoda, then it's Magnussen, and no points currently for Sargent. De Vries is out of F1 for the remainder of the year, Ricciardo is out with injury, and Liam Lawson, 13th on debut, gets another reprieve this weekend here at Monza. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way, 540 points to Mercedes 255. Aston Martin on 215, being caught by Ferrari on 201. McLaren are on 111, but a good podium finish last time out has put Alpine on 73. Williams are now clear of Haas on 15 to 11. Alfa Romeo have 9, and AlphaTauri still on 3. Let's take a look at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza here at the Royal Park in Italy. It's been on the calendar since 1950, a fan, driver, and just about everyone's favourite, the Temple of Speed. Get a good exit out of the last corner and fire down towards the line. DRS open, 8th gear maximum. It's a long run down to turn 1 at the Rettifilo. Make sure that the car is perfectly balanced before you slam on the brakes at around about 70 metres. Into the right, left Rettifilo. Back on the power from first gear very gingerly as you head down, round the Curve de Grande. A long sweeping right-hander, ever building up the speed into 8th gear. Flat out maximum. Another heavy braking zone into the second chicane, the Dalla Roggia chicane. Braking 100 metres, flip the car left, right, back over the bump. Don't put a wheel on the gravel as you head down. Slightly banked is the right-hander Lesmo 1. It sort of feeds you in 5th gear, rising up towards Lesmo 2. A lot tighter, right-hander as well, downhill section of the track as you cut now with the second DRS zone. Maximum 8th gear, down underneath the old banking section as you head towards the Ascari chicane. Quick flick to the left, down from 8th gear all the way to 5th. Carry a lot of speed in, the traction will carry you flat out as you head down after Ascari towards the Parabolica. No DRS in this section as well. If you want to overtake, you have to use your ERS battery deployment. Flick the car in then as well, light dab with the brakes down to 5th gear into the Parabolica. Carry up the speed, use as much exit as you're allowed as you hurtle down across the line to complete the lap. It's a short track, but it's a fan favourite. That is a lap of Monza. Everybody, and welcome to the second practice session for the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. Now, this morning's first practice was full of action, but it was still Max Verstappen who topped the timings as well. Once again, he is looking unstoppable, but nothing lasts forever and every empire falls. The Monza curse is strong here. We were talking about it throughout the weekend as well. The winners in the past 4 seasons have all retired the subsequent years. So what are we going to see with Max Verstappen, who won here 12 months ago, now returns to the circuit? Gasly described it as the most trickiest race he is going to have to try and win 2 years in a row. Well, we're about to gear up, ready for all of the action as well from the session. Alongside me in the commentary box will be Adam and Josh T as well. We'll hear from them in just a moment as well. They're standing by. I can see them on the screen just below, standing by. This morning's practice session, though, it was also a run-in for Felipe Drugovich as well. He was looking in ship-shape condition, getting ready. Possibly, we're hearing, to join Formula One as early as next season. Whether or not it's true that Lance Stroll no longer wants to run in Formula One. We've been hearing rumours he wants to take up tennis, but he's a bit too old for tennis as well. So it's a bit all over the place exactly what we're going to see. But we're going to hand it over now to Simon Lazenby, who's going to get us all set to go for this second session as well. And he's going to give us our times for the remainder of the weekend. So take note. Simon.
Quick whiz through the details for the weekend. Back with the F1 show from 5:15 this evening with Rachel and everybody. On Saturday, 11:15, and then qualifying 2:15 on Sunday, 12:30 on air, with the race getting underway at 2 o'clock. And it is a busy day on Sky Sports News. Keep across all the last-minute transfers. It's transfer deadline day, all the way up to midnight here on Sky Sports News. Up to Tony and Dave in the commentary box.
It's the second free practice session to get underway here in the Monza Royal. Just in case we need them. Green, intermediate and blue wet weather. But no rain predicted today. That's coming in and possibly over the weekend. Right now, though, basking in Italian sunshine in the Royal Park. 26 degrees here. Temperature, track temperature at 35. Adam, family from Italy as well. Over there in America as well. We've got double home races coming up with IndyCar later on as well. What a circuit and what an atmosphere ahead of practice 2. The afternoon running, the setting sun. It's just pitch perfect here at Monza.
That's right, Josh. And ciao to everybody watching from around the world, wherever it may be. This is one of my favorite tracks on the F1 circuit. To give you guys some history, in IndyCar's own Michael Andretti scored his only F1 podium right here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, and he drove for McLaren. It was a half a season, but you mentioned the oval, Josh. That was a banked oval for people who may not remember, and this track has so much history. And I gotta say, when it comes to Italy, we all know that The Tifosi, oh, they come out in droves. And this weekend, Ferrari has a special livery honoring their win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans earlier this year. And Alfa Romeo has a special livery as well with the Italian flag. So, ciao, and let's get going.
Absolutely, let's get going. It's looking great. And of course, that oval that we were just talking about, compared to over in America where we're on the left, this circuit on the oval went to the right. So it's a right-handed oval that you go around as well.
Clockwise.
What's that? Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Jean-Marc Ferrari, red flag is the barriers that they're just being sent down there. Under a minute to go. Ted.
So yeah, I haven't seen any negatives so far. And look, if they go into the race itself and they're a little bit less prepared than usual, is that a bad thing? No.
I'll tell you one man who's never going to go into a race anything less than 150% prepared.
Ted Kravitz.
Ted Kravitz.
Down
Good
to you,
afternoon,
Ted.
Tedos.
Hello, Crofty. Hello, Anthony. Hello, everybody. Welcome down to the pit lane where the sun is beating down. The late summer sunshine here as we start September, don't we? The 1st of September. Pinch punch, Crofty. First of the month. So
wow,
we
yeah,
get,
it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So we get lots of preparation. It's fewer tyre sets, of course, not less. Just want to make sure that you know that.
Thank you. Well done. English was never my strong point. You wouldn't be surprised
Really?
to hear.
Interesting choice of career you've gone on to go. And so the focus for me really in this session is to see whether anything changes from free practice 1. All of these cars, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, all the rest of them dream of being on that podium. Yes, it's that podium. Over on my right shoulder here, you can see that podium. Camera goes up.
Podium.
There he goes. And that is the podium. Probably still the best, even with all the cool and amazing podiums we have in Formula One these days. I think this one still is the best of them all. And that's where they're aiming for come Sunday afternoon.
First.
Cheers, Ted. As they're all getting ready for the action to kick in. And fingers crossed it's going to be a very entertaining session. You can see the cars circulating out on the circuit. So 3 sets of hard, 4 sets of mediums and 4 sets of softs. That's the tyre compounds that we have this weekend. And we should get, Josh T, welcoming you into the broadcast, a very interesting qualifying session coming up because it's mandatory for Q1 to have hards, Q2 mediums, Q3 softs. So less running, more agitation, and it's at Monza. Perfect place to try this qualifying format, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an absolutely incredible qualifying session. It always is round Monza, but as you said, with the added tyre and the new tyre format that they're again testing out, as we just see the Ferrari livery special for this event, as you said, honouring the 24 Hours of Le Mans win that Ferrari had earlier in the year, but Charles Leclerc out on track, and there's the current tyre sergeant on the soft. Everybody on medium except Stroll, Hulkenberg, Piastri and Magnussen, who are all on hard tyres. Alonso, Albon and Russell haven't gone out on track yet. And
there is
Alonso.
Yeah, he's watching in as well. Also, Lando Norris is out there on a used set of medium compound tyres, just to let you know about that factor. I had a really interesting stat I wanted to say, and it's gone up my head now about the tyre compounds we've got here this weekend. But either way, it's just been deleted, which is unfortunate. But Adam, looking at the circuit right now, they're going to head out there. I don't know how much you saw just now of the F2 qualifying and the drama that you did see. The drama.
I saw it.
What did you make of that? Because we're going to see that. We saw that back in 2019. And I think we're going to see that tomorrow, both in Overfree qualifying, especially with this new tyre format gizmos.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that it's going to be a train?
Yeah, I do believe so. And don't forget, guys, we saw the session at Silverstone with the British Grand Prix, and that's where it started. And we all know what happened with Williams. It was their home race. We saw Logan Sargent up there. Alex Albon was there, and we see it looked. And Lance Stroll is off in the Aston Martin.
Completely lost power.
He's red flag. yeah, you're right. So he's completely lost power, Adam. So that is a red flag to the session with 4 minutes. Well, not even that, is it? 3 minutes 20 left. And Lance Stroll has ground to a halt. Now, he's done that at the exit of Ascari on the run down towards the Parabolica, and he's just trailed off. So Alonso hadn't gone out the track. Maybe he's counting his lucky stars. He didn't, because that's now Stroll out for the entirety of the run. Let's listen on board. Down towards Ascari, under the bridge. Lost power. Gearbox is still there, is it? If it goes clutter, 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 it's power unit.
He isn't shifting just for safety and to try and save the units as well.
That was... So the steering wheel didn't go off. He was stuck in 8th gear. So... Can't be... hydraulic pressure, maybe? I'm not too sure about that one.
Sound.
So that's a really strange come to the stop. It's not...
Now they're going to be concerned about Alonso's car.
Yeah, because that shouldn't have happened. That doesn't sound like gearbox to me, because usually if it's gearbox, you hear a clunk, 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 clunk function.
Yeah.
If it's
Of course.
Yeah, if it's turbo, it's like a chainsaw starting up as well with the you hear at the back. So that's
Well,
just a drain of power, really. It's really weird.
Alonso's getting in the car now, but we saw it earlier on in practice 1 with both of the Alfa Romeos, them both having the exact same problem. So hopefully it isn't a setup issue with what it was earlier on. But let's hear from Stroll once more.
We're standing by. They're just checking if we can get the car fired up. We'll try and get you back. So stand by. If we need to turn it off for temps, I'll let you know. But standing by.
So
Yeah, not too great there. You can't touch it either, but because the car is green at the moment. Let's see. Back down to Crofty.
The engine had stopped.
Right.
They wouldn't leave it running for that long. And of course, with the hydraulic, if it is hydraulics, you wouldn't be able to depress the clutch. So that's why they ended that clip just a bit too soon.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if it came to a grinding halt rather
That's what
than
I wanted to see,
putting
yeah.
the clutch in and being back in freewheeling mode for a while with the engine running. So you can... Oh.
And Lance, tell them to stay away. We're still going to try and fire this up.
Yeah, don't touch it.
I was just going to say, you can restart these hybrid Formula 1 engines, of course. So they're asking him to get out of the car, and actually, as a driver, you do need to respect the marshal's actions and requests. So he's got to be a little bit careful here as well. And they're now
trying to push the
yeah.
car.
Oh,
If it's
don't
stuck
touch
in
the
gear,
car.
Exactly.
You're not going to be able to push the car.
Yeah, don't touch the car. Look, he's saying, whatever you do, don't touch the car, because it's deemed as outside assistance.
We're going to try.
Okay, Lance. We believe we need to turn the car off and jump out, I'm afraid. So turn it off. P0. Must be P0 and jump out. I'm sorry.
Right, so the car is now completely, whatever's happened has now stopped it. So that is now a whole session lost, Adam, for Lance Stroll, and that's his season getting worse. And Aston have got upgrades this weekend. They wanted to know if it worked, and you have to wonder, it's not his fault in this instance, but you've got to wonder, is Stroll getting fed up with Formula 1? I said that in the start of the show, I think, or the end of the F2 broadcast.
Yeah, and it's like Lance Stroll wants to be a tennis player.
Yeah.
Well, for you folks who may not know, you have called being a tennis star like Roger. You know, it doesn't matter if you're pro like Roger Federer or something like that. You have to have a lot of time, to work on your backhand, your forehand, and it just can't happen overnight. If Lance Stroll wants to go play tennis, you're gonna have to. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of time on the court, and you'll have to have a trainer. And so, but if Lance Stroll wants to go to play tennis, well,
I'm not going to stop
I'd like
him.
to see how he would do.
It'd be nice to see him do something without Daddy's money. Oh, did I just say that?
Yeah, Josh, you did.
Oh dear. Not good, not good.
Hide.
he did earn his way to Formula One, I must say. Lance was a very quick driver in the junior categories, but since he's been in, the only way he could get to Formula One was by being a paid driver, and then his dad just brought the teams. Ted.
Or Lance Stroll.
Oh, not Ted.
In 4 of his 6
Crosby
starts
sounds like
there,
Ted.
Third, didn't he?
Oh, there's Lena Buller, the F1 Academy's driver, watching on. She's got a shot at the title, but going down towards Kota. Miss Emma Walsh was just alongside her as well. Over there, of course, the TikTok star and the social media correspondent for Formula One officially. And race session will resume at 17:10, so that is in just under a minute's time. We are going to go green now, so 1 minute until the session will restart. Now, Stroll's car is just on the runoff area where it cuts back in, so it could get back to the paddock. I don't think they won't be able to bring it into the pit, I don't think, so that's a worry. So that car's stuck there now to the end of the session as we're ready. But hang on, our car's going out on the track. We haven't got a green light. Our car's heading out there onto the circuit. We haven't got a green one. Let's have a look. I heard cars zooming by me. Verstappen's stopped at the control line, but it's a fuel system issue for Lance Stroll. That's what's costing the session. So Aston Martin have just put out a press release. It is a fuel system issue that they can't get it working. No car's gone out onto the track. And Lance Stroll yesterday said how he needed to have a trouble-free weekend. Well, he sat out much of first practice as well, because if you don't forget, Felipe Drugovich was in his car, and now he's only got 3 minutes in. So Lance Stroll is going into Saturday with absolutely no practice. Ted's in the pits watching Perez.
Yeah, of course, but to be fair, we've seen many a driver do that, including you a couple of times as well.
All right.
But we've got over that now. Unlike your mechanics. 10 minutes gone.
I paid him off, it was fun.
Joe Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas, the only drivers to get a lap time on the board for what it's worth so far. In FP2 last year, a 1:21.6 by Carlos Sainz was the magic number. That was the fastest time. I do like that Alfa Romeo livery, by the way,
Brilliant,
with the Italian flag. That's good.
Absolutely brilliant.
I do too.
Please stick with it.
It is a good livery, isn't it, Adam? What do you think of it? Is it one that they should keep permanently for the rest of the year?
Yes. I mean, it shows off the Italian flag, and we all know Alfa Romeo is Italian, so I think it's the perfect livery for this weekend, as well as Ferrari. I think those two hit the nail on the head regarding, they're both Italian teams, and they're showing off their Italian colors. I think. I love it.
100%. Oh, there's Ted.
Obviously, they're just assessing the damage that will be to Lance Stroll's weekend. He'll do well, won't he, tomorrow, Crofty, to recover from this lost track time. Nothing on a Friday at all. But Fernando Alonso is ready to go. And I've got a line for you from McLaren as well. Lots of new bits on the car, but not as high expectations as you might think. The team boss, Andrea Stella, saying that they will do well to get on the podium, and sort of citing Mercedes, Ferrari, potentially Aston Martin as well as those who might stop them, of course Red Bull, getting on that podium. But yeah, a bit of a surprise given that they have actually brought lots of new Monza-specific parts on the front and the rear wings and all the sections around them.
Ted, they can make their own podium with that rear wing that they've got. Looks like a shelf, doesn't it? You can actually stand on the back of that. Well, you could. I probably couldn't, to be honest. But you can keep up to date with McLaren's progress on board if you wish. And then
All right, now they're going to talk about the updates and the onboards, which I don't have because I haven't got my iPad with me. Foolishly, I realise I haven't got it yet, so I'm going to have to go get it in before we go to our first ad break in a few moments' time. I'm hoping, however, that Martin Brundle will be trackside for a few moments to allow me to run inside and get it. Zhou and Bottas first lap times at the moment on the board. Sainz coming up there in towards Ascari, flicking through nicely. I understand Martin Brundle will be at the Rettifilio first up, which will be turn number 1, 2, and then round the Curta Grande, which leads into turn 3. So he'll be positioned there. We'll hear from Martin shortly. He rejoins the F1 team at Sky this weekend. We'll hear from him in this session and probably doing grid walks as well throughout the week. So, Zhou Bottas, Stroll, Sainz goes top. Verstappen right behind him though, looking even faster despite a poor middle sector. Third sector's looking great. Verstappen does a 1:22.259. So already getting closer to last year's time as Crofty said of a 1:21.6. We're at a 1:22.2. On board with Sargent looking good. Russell goes third. Albon set the fastest first sector of anyone. Sargent goes fourth. He's on soft tyres. That's the C5, 1:23.154. But watch out for Alexander Albon. That Williams looking very much like a midfield team. Liam Lawson goes sixth on the medium compounds. Ocon goes fifth. But Alexander Albon in that Williams looking mighty and does a 1:22.318 within a tenth of 59 thousandths of a second off the pace of Verstappen. That's a mighty good time, Adam, from Williams on those soft tyres. They are now a midfield team. I think under the direction as well we're seeing from James Vowles, this is a team that can go back to the top.
Absolutely, Josh, and they have two quality drivers in Alex Albon and Logan Sargent. At Zandvoort, Logan Sargent was the first driver to qualify inside the top 10s since Michael Andretti did it when he was with McLaren. So, you know, it's taking time, but Logan Sargent, you know, to me, I think he'll get on the. I think next year we'll see Logan Sargent on the podium. You know, Canada, Oscar Piastri, you know, McLaren as well. He has showed me that he can compete with the big dogs this year, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised next year. Oscar Piastri, I could see him on the podium too.
Second in the sprint race, of course, back at the Belgium Grand Prix. His first medal in Formula One just got blocked there as well by Lewis Hamilton down at the Dalla Roggia chicane. If you wonder why there's, as I said in the first broadcast, if you wonder why there's less trees around Monza this year, after Italy was suffering with that horrific flooding, it took 10,000 trees down when Monza flooded a few months ago. So that's why it doesn't look as full of trees and greenery at the moment, but it will. There is a replanting effort going on to bring it all back up. As look at that, Hamilton there, Josh T, just dancing on the racing line. You're not allowed to do that. Hamilton might get ticking off there because he's just on the racing line.
Yeah, nice from Hamilton.
Yeah, Lewis proving as well sometimes that he's not exactly the greatest of spatial awareness of all time. Drifting on the racing line there, Josh T, and we're seeing Russell through the Rettifilo as well, jumping over the curbs as well.
Yeah, just check my card, trying to get one piece for next run at worst.
Russell doing his job, Josh T.
Yeah, and quite a funny little bit of cheat there from Oscar Piastri in that radio message. Nice to see he's getting in the getting used to taking cheek out of other drivers on the radio messages, as a couple of other drivers do to everyone else. But
come on, everybody, let's do the conga. Come on, everybody, let's do the conga. All together now.
Yeah, oh, massive weaving for Alonso there.
This is ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4. Literally, I'm looking at the driver track and they're just climbing up on each other into that last sector. Perez doesn't want to go with Alonso. Alonso's going like, no, after you. Perez going, no, after you. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll go there, but you're going to ruin my lap now. So he's going to have to be turned around by Piastri. And he's going to tell Magnussen's already gone up the road. And Piastri's right behind Perez. What a mess. Everyone already, Adam, trying to practice the toe on soft tyres ready for the Q3. And some of them on mediums, actually, as well.
Yeah, and if you looked at it in the previous shot, you actually saw part of the banking that was on the old Monza Oval. Let's talk about Lewis Hamilton for a second. He just signed a 2-year extension with Mercedes. So, do you think? What do you guys think of Lewis Hamilton extending his contract with Mercedes for another 2 years?
I was surprised it was 2. I thought it would just be another year extension. To commit to the end of this regulation was a big ask. I don't think we'll see him in 2026, though. I really don't.
I don't think so either. I think he'll retire in 2025, and if he does, and you know, we all know he wants to win another F1 championship.
Yeah.
But as long as Max Verstappen is here, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it's hard to knock off somebody off the year Max Verstappen has had, but I mean, every year is different in motorsports, and we know that, from all the series that we cover here. And so I think 2025 Lewis Hamilton will have a swan song.
I think exactly the same. He'll announce he's retiring in 2024. 2025 will be his victory lap, and then he'll go in at the end of that. Josh T, what about you?
Yeah, as you said, I was quite surprised it was 2 years. We talked about this in practice 1, Josh.
Yeah.
And we both agreed, if I remember rightly, that we both thought he would take one and then maybe take another if he wanted to.
If he was in a championship position, yeah.
Yeah. Now that he's locked in for 2 years, he might not feel that he wants to go for another year at the end of next season. But as I said in practice 1, I'll say it again, it lifts the mindset of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. They both knowing that they'll be together as teammates until the end of 2025, and they don't have to worry about that at all. But a couple of teams are still might have a couple of worries, and that's Williams. Albon doesn't know who his teammate will be. Bottas doesn't know who his teammate will be, and no one knows. Well, some people might have some predictions, but there's no one in AlphaTauri knows who their drivers are going to be next year. Everyone else has been confirmed, but going into next year, a lot of the contracts are going over to next year, which have been signed in this year and the year before.
Yeah.
So a lot of people on this year's grid is going to be on next year's grids as well.
It's going to be a super confusing one as well, as Ted's just talking about the front wing flaps as well, about how next year is going to change around on the front suspensions being different and the FIA testing. Look, that's Lance Stroll still with a bandage over his left ear as we look at it. Not looking too good there, actually, as well. Still suffering a bit from that infection. Had a horrible Dutch Grand Prix and is having an even more horrible weekend. Martin Brundle, trackside for us at Ascari.
Ascari chicane, which is where Martin Brundle is. Martin.
I am indeed. Hello, everybody. Yes, turns 8, 9 and 10. The beautiful Ascari chicane as we see Lewis Hamilton charging through here. So minimum speed's about 110 miles an hour on the way in, 135 through the middle. And then they just power out. George Russell turning up here, but going slow. Now, you'll see the white flags come out behind him. That's not surrender, of course. That's to warn everybody that there's a slow car ahead. And my goodness, have I seen that white flag a lot since I've been standing here? Because so many cars, as you've seen on the screen, just coasting, trying to find some space. But as Oscar Piastri then files through nicely in the McLaren, you can lean a little bit on the serrated curb through the edge exit. And then they're taking quite different lines down the straight towards Parabolic. I'm guessing to miss some of the worst of the bumps. But what really struck me coming out here through the middle of the track and standing here is how many trees have gone down. They had a big storm here early on in the year. And you see trees that are stripped. It just, everywhere looks so much lighter than I ever remember Monza being. And through the middle of the track, they're just massive tree trunks everywhere where the trees have come down. So a lot of work to be done here to tidy this place up. As what's quite interesting, and these Grand Effect cars really do work brilliantly well through this kind of corner. They've got enough downforce to squash it all out. But as they turn onto the straight down towards the Parabolica, you can see them all loaded up. And the car just yawing slightly, just actually sliding a tiny amount. I mean, you're always sliding as secure as they look. You're always sliding a bit because you're on the limit of adhesion. And a bit of instability in the middle for the direction change. But you can see the sidewall of the tyre through the exit of the corner. Williams is going slowly. And just a tiny bit of yaw, a little bit of sliding on the car as it's obediently following the steering wheel and the front tyre, the big front tyres on these. And the back end just beautifully sort of and almost on the point of sliding out a little bit. But you can see where they've got the cars really well balanced and trimmed out a bit of downforce. And again, Lewis Hamilton then on presumably a preparation lap. George Russell follows him again through slowly. So it's a real cat and mouse down here. And then all of a sudden, all hell lets loose and they come through absolutely flat out of this magnificent racetrack. So good to be trackside, good to see them at work. Surprising to see some of them struggling a little bit in the middle of the chicane with the direction change, a bit of instability, as they've obviously got the aero quite well trimmed out, and the track is a little bit green. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Martin Brundle, who is trackside out there watching on. Sergeant 11th at the moment in this this second practice session for the Italian Grand Prix. We've been under green flag for a little bit now. Sainz ahead of Leclerc. It's a Ferrari 1-2 here at Monza, followed by Alonso, Perez and Verstappen rounds out the top 5. Albon ahead of Russell, Hamilton, Norris and Tsunoda takes his 10th. Yeah, not at all getting the countdown in my ears, am I? And we're not even behind. That's how good this system is at the moment at predicting the pit stops. So I just had to fill for the last 2 seconds there to get in enough time. Now, we've lost... I've got my iPad, by the way. We've got the audio, but the Wi-Fi is not being the greatest on the signal to get us into it. So we're just switching over to... the hotspot to get it in, but you can see the cars, just a couple of them out there at the moment, which is Sargent, Hamilton and Piastri, and I think that's George Russell. Yep, it is Russell coming down towards the Parabolica now. Adam, just a quick question to you ahead of this one. If it's not Red Bull this weekend, which team do you see winning? Who do you think's got the best outcome possible at this circuit? Because I've got a couple on my mind.
Well, I think one of them has got to be Ferrari. It's their home track, and if Ferrari doesn't do good here, as we all know, the Tifosi, they won't be happy campers after Sunday. And I'll go out on a limb. I'll say McLaren. Oscar Piastri is looking strong as well, and I'll give a call. Why not Williams? Logan Sargent, Alex Albon. We all remember what happened, with the qualifying session at the British Grand Prix in Silverstone. Don't care about Williams. I think if both those drivers have a good starting spot, I think I could see one of those two drivers on the podium.
Oh,
but it's hard. But as we all know, guys, it's going to be hard to beat Red Bull. It is every time we race.
2 seconds, Adam. Hamilton's asking the radio, how many tenths down are we on speed? The engineers we're 5 kilometres down on Russell, just off the sim. And then it was about Hamilton was complaining about 6 tenths. It was a long message. Hopefully Sky replay that for us when we come back on air. But Hamilton not happy. He's currently 9th place, Russell 7th, but we've got Sargent right in the middle, so there's a bit of a difference between the two. I completely agree with you, though, Adam, about McLaren. They were my surprise pick as well, coming in to this weekend if we can't have a normal run. So, Josh T, I'll ask you the question. Who's going to be your surprise team if it's not Red Bull winning this weekend?
I completely agree with Adam. It's either going to be McLaren or Williams, and maybe even a little bit of Ferrari. We could see a couple of other teams. Again, it is Monza. We've had some absolute massive surprises here. Massive shocks here at Monza. Just one spin, just one little crash, one safety car, one virtual safety car could change the whole race here at Monza. It's just this nature of this circuit. It's just sometimes here at Monza, of course, you've got the Monza curse. You just have to expect the unexpected when you come here.
We'll go for the fastest ever race in history, of course, as we do every year. If we can beat 1 hour, 14 minutes, 21 seconds, then it will be the fastest F1 race in history in terms of time. Right, let's hear what Lewis Hamilton was saying then as Sky Sports F1 return, and we'll hear what Hamilton was saying over the radio, and we'll throw over to Crofty.
How far am I down in the high speed? In a straight line.
Yeah, so it looks like we're about 5k down to George, so that's a bit more than Sim.
6/10 coming from the first sector. It's just 2 straights.
It's mainly straight line, but yeah, there is a little bit of a loss turn 1, 2.
And then Hamilton said this later on in the lap.
I'd rather box and get this change and I'm just way out of bed.
Yeah, I think that would wipe out most of our program. That's the problem, Lewis.
Not good at Mercedes.
Now we can
Let's hear from
speculate
Matt.
as to what's happening at Mercedes, and that was just a few moments ago.
Or we
Lewis
can ask
Hamilton
them.
is now coming into the garage. We can head down to the garage, actually, where the head of communications at Mercedes F1, Bradley Lord, is waiting to talk to us. Communications Director, Bradley, I apologise. I've taken your directorship away from you there. What's going on? Lewis not happy? Is he running too much rear wing?
Yeah, they've tried a different wing level over the break, and it's, as Bono said on the radio, turned out, you know, the delta, straight line delta is a bit greater than expected, so they're just going back and forth on, is the time to change it? Will that compromise soft, you know, the next tyre in this session, or would it leave him trying to do a quick lap while others are long running, and just how we juggle the program from there, basically. So normal stuff, but put all the radio messages together in a single sequence, and it probably sounds a bit more dramatic than it is otherwise.
But Bradley is Sand here. So in the other parts of the circuit, we only heard about Sector 1, where he was losing that time. Was he faster elsewhere on the track?
It didn't really seem to be giving a huge amount in the corners, and was costing down the straights. So yeah, I'm not sure it showed the upside that they were hoping for. And as I say, it was a little bit different to what the results have been in the sim as well. So yeah, not ideal, but all part of the learning really in free practice.
Loads to talk to you about, Bradley. We'll come back to you a bit later on if that's okay, and ask many more questions, including does Esteban Gutierrez have to be your minder over your shoulder at every single event this afternoon? But we have got a special guest in the commentary box with us, Felipe Drugovich, who has driven the Monza track today in FP1 for
Right, let's hear from Felipe then.
So well done you. Thanks for coming along. How was it out there?
Hello guys, hello everyone. Yeah, it was quite special again. Second FP1 session for me. Yeah, really happy. Yeah, now we have a camera. Hello everyone.
You could have waved at it before.
Yeah, okay. Not very used to this. But no, I think it was a great session. Obviously, with a different tire allocation for this weekend, it's a bit harder with the compounds. So obviously, first priority was just to get the program, get through the whole program for the team, gathering the data, and also, just trying to get used to it and not make any mistakes at the end, because with one tire, if I have a lockup or something like that, it could, cost me the whole session. So just getting through it was already quite a big pleasure.
But how was it to drive this fantastic circuit in modern F1 machinery? I'm very jealous, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, I would be if I was in your position as well. But no, it's just amazing. To be fair, we went, quite low downforce already this weekend. Everyone is obviously in low downforce, and I was expecting the car to have not as much grip as it had, but there's a lot of grip, especially on high speed, even with this low downforce wings, which is, it's mega. It's just so grateful to drive those cars around. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. We got through everything. Every lap that I did, I was just improving, so it was really great.
How does it differ, like riding on board here with Leclerc through Curva Grande, how does it differ from an F2 car that you're very familiar with around this track? I mean, this is Formula One. It's got to blow it away in every kind of scenario, no?
Yeah, it did. Obviously, we're still on higher fuel, not qualifying whatever, not tire, not engine mode or whatever. So it's very, impressive just to see that even in an F1 session, we knew that we were going to be far away from a pole position lap, but anyway, it was just blown away. Everything is just perfect. Also, at a very high speed, the top speed from an F2 car is not that far away from an F1, but
corner
feels like it's slow at the end of the straight because it's so stable. Everything just is perfect now compared to an F2. So it's very interesting to see that difference.
I love it. The Ferraris are flying at the moment.
Yeah, nice to hear from Felipe Drugovich up there in the Sky F1 commentary boxes. We'll come back to us to have a few minutes conversation. You can't not let Felipe, who's just driven the track, explain what it's like. Leclerc still in second place, Adam, but it's a Ferrari 1-2 on home soil, and it's looking, it could be quite an interesting one. Sainz just in the first sector on the mediums, 26.853. Albon now goes third. It really is feeling like a weekend could change around as we take a look at Stroll's car that has been returned to the paddock.
We know will Ferrari be Ferrari like we all know that they are, or with them being on home soil this weekend, will they finally get it right? You could say they have a little bit of momentum on their side because, like we've talked about, they are honoring their win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans this weekend, so who knows? Maybe they'll get some sort of advantage. As we see, Sergio Perez is just the top spot here in FP2 as we were on board with Carlos Sainz from Ferrari.
What's it for the radio?
You're looking into copy.
That's one of the areas there for Carlos Sainz where you're really pushing the car under.
So yeah, back to you, Adam.
Yeah, as Carlos Sainz shortcutted the chicane there. Max Verstappen is in sixth. We knew he was fastest in FP1, and now everyone's getting the blue flag, to let Max through. So I know you guys have talked about it over on Grid Network, but would this be the year that Max Verstappen sweeps every race for the rest of the year? I mean, it's never been done in the history of Formula One. Do you think it can happen?
If he wins, he'd have a 95% win rate in a season because, of course, he loses that for Perez and winning those two races. But for the rest of the year, yeah, he could do it.
The middle sector was shocking with the traffic.
It's still shocking, Max. We're not seeing it on the TV pictures at the moment, but we've got a yellow flag now out there on the circuit. It's gone green, so brief yellow. That got sent out. Look at this, Josh T. This is how much traffic there was. Everyone backing up to get the tow, and it's so dangerous. How the race director's got to do something about this. Got to.
Yeah, and I know we're not talking about it, but on the second Lesmo, that's track limits if I've ever seen it, Max.
Yeah, it was too far off. I'm surprised the lap time hasn't gone yet.
But 91 thousandths off the pace of Perez, his teammate, who's currently up the top for 121.540. 25 thousandths back is Sainz, but yeah.
That's faster.
Max Verstappen really testing the limits.
Yeah, that's fast. Oh, that's faster than what last year's practice time was. So that 121.540 from Perez is faster than last year's Sainz 121.6. So we are quicker.
Yeah. Good to see lap times improving after some changes. Alonso 6/10 down. He's just gone over the second sector. Look at Lando Norris and Alonso nearly losing it.
Alonso had a huge twist, but look at this. Lando's looking really good. He's out of the last corner across the line now. Lando Norris goes P1. It's a 121.374. But what can Fernando Alonso do across the line? Alonso stays 7th. That twitch cost him too much.
Keep an eye on Piastri. He just took away sector 2.
We're not going to try again because I had a read.
It's not qualifying, Max.
Max is...
Yeah, I know, but I want to have a proper read.
Max wants to go again. They're telling him no, it's not qualifying, but Max needs to get his eye in. Piastri goes up into 3rd position. Verstappen has boxed, so his engineer has took up as well. Trust JT to trust that one across. Not you, Josh T, the other one. Sainz goes across, and The Tifosi erupt. It's a 1:21.355. 19 thousandths of a second faster than Lando Norris. And it's Verstappen now, who's really in trouble. He has not got a clear delta time in. He hasn't got a clear run in. And now he's really on the cusp of not knowing how quick those tyres can go. And of course, he's limited on sets. So Adam, this could really struggle him going into qualifying, especially Q3.
Yeah, Max Verstappen did have his pole streak stopped earlier in the season, so could we see someone else on the pole here after qualifying tomorrow? You know, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say yes. I don't think Max Verstappen gets the ball here in Italy. I think it's either going to be the way Ferrari looks. I could see Ferrari on the pole for the Italian Grand Prix. I don't know.
These guys are creating. Come on. We need to be better than this.
Oh, the drive.
Yeah, I tell you what, Crofty was just about to say the same thing I was. The driver's briefing after practice 2 this evening is going to be feisty. Can I please book front row tickets? That's going to be insane. Get a camera in there. Fun. Do not miss a trick. Get a camera in there. Get it recorded.
I wish I was a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
I wish I was a fly on. I think we all wish we were flies on the wall.
Everybody tweet Farm and get them a camera. I want to see that.
Yeah, I think it'd be
interesting.
I think it'd be absolutely nutty.
I don't want to be Niels Wittig this evening. He's going to get it from everyone. Not just F1, but F2, F3, and Porsche Super Cup that are here this weekend to round out their championship. We've already crowned one champion today. Gabriel Bortoletto in the Formula 3 qualifying. In a qualifying session, he was crowned champion. Doesn't matter what happens in the last 2 races for him. He has taken F3 by storm this year. The rookie, Ted. No Ted. So that's why I heard Ted, because they want him to go down to Ferrari to have something as well and have a look. I can't say why I'm hearing things, but there's Ted now, look, just heading down to Ferrari, like I heard, to take a look at what's going on with Charles Leclerc as well. I can't say how I'm hearing things, but I am hearing things in my ears. So it's given me a very good boost in the broadcast at the moment. I mean, I'm sure Megan might have heard them earlier on, actually, when she was in the box.
Hey, Josh, let our viewers know, you crowned a Formula 3 champion earlier. Well, folks, stick with us on Sunday, as IndyCar could crown a champion on Sunday, as Alex Palou has one hand on the championship. Could he have both hands on the trophy? We will have a lot of coverage this weekend, thanks to the good folks at Grid Network, as Grid Network's own Josie Miego is on site, Portland International Raceway, for plenty of coverage from the BitNile.com Grand Prix of Portland. So subscribe over to the Grid Network YouTube channel for plenty of coverage. And on Sunday, we will have the BitNile.com Grand Prix of Portland right here on JD Motorsports. I'll be with Josh, and I believe it'll be Ben Schneider with us as well. So we could see another champion crowned Sunday afternoon.
Okay, we could indeed get in touch. That's going to be a fun evening. It'll be live as well. All of the broadcasters are coming together. That's Grid Network, USRN, and JB Motorsports.
Yes.
So just getting information as well that Lance's car is a fuel issue that they are trying to fix 110%. They'll be back up and running as the action continues on. About to be Bottas out there on the circuit right now. Leclerc from Gasly, Hamilton, Sargent, Bottas, Joan, Perez are out there, as you can see on the timing ticker. George says hi. Hello, George. After you said earlier on, you can't even in practice. Yeah. Everyone's just practicing that toe, and it's always when we get to Monza, in recent years, it's just so important now, especially with these aerodynamic cars, it's like it's been turned up to 1,000. Q1's going to be fun, Q2, Q3 as well. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow in the session. I can't remember what it actually interrupts in total. I know Megan is covering some of the MotoGP sessions tomorrow that aren't crucial, and I'm taking the racing of Formula 3. I think the only one I don't know. I think I missed the end of the F2 sprint race because I've got to go and do the MotoGP sprint race. So I think Megan then will filter into the box there and take over as well. So that's all going to be a lot of fun. Jess is with us for qualifying, remember, and the race. And Adam will be with us for IndyCar, as per always. The last 3 races he's with us in the team. Actually, you've been with us for the past 4 races, haven't you?
Yes, I have,
yeah.
Actually, every time you have an IndyCar session next year, Josh, I will make announcement. I will be with you for every single IndyCar session that you have next year. So,
sounds good.
So, looking forward to the 2024 NTT IndyCar Series season. So, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And guys, let's talk about a driver that recently was signed at Chip Ganassi Racing. Linus Lundqvist.
Yes.
Was signed at Chip Ganassi Racing next year. So I'll start with you, Josh B. What are your thoughts of that?
Came as a complete. Oh, sorry. I didn't get the countdown then. I turned them down. Came as a complete surprise to me. I did not expect Linus Lundqvist to sign with Chip Ganassi. I was sure he would be at Meyer-Shank Racing, replacing Simon Pagenaud, who I 100% thought was retiring from the sport. So it's come as a complete shock to me. But thank God he's in. Linus Lundqvist deserves a seat in this sport, and thank God he's going in. So yeah, great stuff. What about you, Josh T?
Yeah, completely agree with that. Linus Lundqvist absolutely should be in the IndyCar series after his performance, especially with his debut stepping in for Pagenaud. And again, I'm surprised that Pagenaud's staying on for another year. Of course, he had that absolutely horrific crash at Mid-Ohio, which has ended his season. And yeah, Linus Lundqvist, surprised it was Chip Ganassi actually. And you've got a good driver, especially when Linus Lundqvist has had 1 or 2 races in the IndyCar series, and Chip Ganassi has just gone, snatch, you're mine, you're coming to Chip Ganassi.
He's replacing Marcus Ericsson, isn't he?
Yeah. Chip. When Chip Ganassi can see potential, he sees potential. Linus Lundqvist could be an IndyCar champion.
I concur. I 100% agree with you all on that fact. I've just noticed that my desk is slanted slightly. I don't know how that's happened. Probably Megan knocking it earlier on, but it's slightly out of whack, so I'll repair that later. Ahead as well. Coming in, so cars just circulating out there on the circuit right now. That's a saying, isn't it, and a half? Of course they're out there, it's a practice session, but there's only a couple as they're building up in that last sector at the moment. I'm actually seeing less than what's on the TV channel. I don't know if some of them are coming into the pit lane now, because I'm only seeing Ocon, Perez, Sargent, Verstappen, Sainz and Hamilton. And Hamilton's still there with Sainz. So yeah, Piastri and Norris are coming out on the track. So that's what I'm seeing up here in the commentary box timing screens that you're seeing as well, different areas. Sainz fastest from Norris. And when we go back, I believe Martin Brundle is going to be trackside, I believe at the Parabolica. I want to say he's made his way down to. It could be, however, at the Retifilia, where I'm not entirely sure if it was turn 12 or turn 2, they just said. But we'll hear from Martin. And with 13 minutes to go, they'll just, 12 and a half now, they'll just slowly get ready to run it in. Verstappen is out there on the medium compound tyres, so he has lost his run on the softs that he wanted to do. So that's really going to anger Verstappen. going into the last
You
few.
don't want an angry Max.
Angry Max. And what's happened here?
Definitely want to stay away from Max if he doesn't win this race to get his consecutive wins.
Sonoda's on the radio complaining about something. We'll hear it in just a second. See again how Lewis just didn't move away. So Sonoda not happy. Let's hear it now on the radio. Ted Crofty.
Carlos Sainz, fastest man in this session with a 1:21.3. That compares to a 1:21.6, which was the fastest time last year in FP2 and came from Carlos Sainz. He's on race simulations currently, and this is the important part for Ferrari. I think they feel they've got single lap pace, and Sainz has certainly shown that, more so than his teammate Charles Leclerc this afternoon. But it's the race pace. What race pace have they got? That man you're looking at there is Enrico Gualtieri, who has been appointed their new technical director. So he was like head of chassis before. I think Enrico. He's now Enrico Cardile, the head of chassis. He has now been promoted up to technical director, which currently, I suppose, fills the void that was left when Mattia Binotto left the team.
And he's going to Alpine.
By the way, was seen in the paddock here. Just yesterday was a special guest in the paddock. Lots of rumours about his future, but as yet, nothing concrete for the future.
It's interesting seeing that graphic as well at the bottom of the screen as you're talking about Crofty, with Ferrari and Aston Martin's fight throughout this championship so far this year, and it has naturally ebbed and flowed, but it seems like Ferrari have caught up slightly towards where we are now in the championship in terms of pace and points. And yeah, Aston Martin very much started the year as second best to Red Bull, and they slipped after a handful of races. You know, McLaren have made good progress with the car updates, Mercedes as well. Ferrari have always kind of been there or thereabouts, but it really seems track specific for them. And here, quite clearly, is a circuit that suits their car once again.
Yeah.
But they have to deliver here, don't they? This is Ferrari on home soil. If you're going to do it anywhere, it's got to be here.
22 poles, 19 wins at Monza. Only 2 wins here in the last 17 years. One of those was by this man, Charles Leclerc, 4 years ago. Ted, let's head down to you.
A couple of things from down here. First of all, down at the Haas garage, having a much better free practice 2 than they did a free practice 1. Around the top 10, I think both Haas drivers are, Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg. So they didn't really know. When I spoke to Hülkenberg,
yellow, and it's Perez! Perez has hit the wall! Perez has hit the wall! And that's coming through the Parabolica! Can he keep it going? It's not as banked gravel trap as we think it is. Oh, he's beached it! He's beached it! I don't believe it! Red flag will have to come out! And it is a red flag! Sergio Perez losing the rear car, coming through the Parabolica. He's hit the rear of the rear wing, and it is a red flag with 8 minutes to go in the session. And he just had too much acceleration, and he's hit the wall. Unbelievable, Adam.
Yeah, everything was going smooth, and then we already had one red flag, and now we have another one. Let's see what happens.
Oh, my word! On the gravel.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I was like, he just like.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Flew into it.
That's almost near. That's almost near the opening to where the Monza Oval is.
Oh, he gets on the gravel, loses the rear, and he just sort of flies in. Goes a long way though, doesn't it, Josh T?
Yeah, and that's really not what you want, especially with how your teammates performing as well. With Sergio Perez bouncing through the gravel,
Missed the wall.
Seen these. Yeah, missed that tyre wall, went straight into the back of the Armco. But yeah, especially not what you want to be seeing there. And you can see Christian Horner's reaction and the pit walls. The Red Bull pit wall reaction, they do not know what to think. Perez is out of the car, but with how well Max Verstappen is performing and the risk of Daniel Ricciardo I know he's got a broken wrist right now and he's out on injury, but with the pressure from Daniel Ricciardo, even though Sergio Perez is confirmed for 24, is he going to drive for 2024? I don't think Sergio Perez will be in the Red Bull for 2025. No. I think that might go for someone else. Who will it be? I don't want to get into that right now.
Ricciardo.
Maybe. Ricciardo.
I'll agree, Josh. Yeah, I think it'll be Ricciardo.
And it'll be Lawson alongside Tsunoda.
The seat, insert the Sergio Perez seat, it'll be Daniel Ricciardo, then Liam Lawson.
Yeah. I'll agree with that, Josh T. I will completely 110% agree with you on that.
Perez can't be demoted to AlphaTauri, apparently. It's in his contract, but I don't think even AlphaTauri would want him at the moment, which isn't fair. But is Ricciardo up to the speed of Red Bull and Max Verstappen? That's the question. Max has never had, as it was pointed out a few days ago, I think by Lewis Hamilton, Max has never had a proper race-winning driver alongside him as in a world champion. Lewis has. He's had Fernando and Nico Rosberg. And a very capable driver, Valtteri Bottas, back in his day. Bottas has since not really, he's lost it quite a lot, really. But if you think about the teammates that Hamilton's had, he's had Fernando Alonso, he's had Heikki Kovalainen, Jenson Button, of course, as a world champion. And then he went over and had Nico Rosberg, then Valtteri Bottas, and now George Russell. He's only ever had 6 teammates in Formula One, and he never beat Button. He beat Alonso. No, actually, he never did beat Alonso. They tied. Alonso tied, beat Kovalainen massively. Button beat him. He beat Rosberg, then Rosberg beat him, and he always beat Bottas. And now he's beating... Well, actually, Russell's beating him at the moment, Ted.
And a practice start at the end of the session if it's going to restart. The Red Bull Sporting Director, Jonathan Wheatley, is on the pit wall just looking down towards the Parabolica to see what kind of state is in. He's thinking about not only his own car of Sergio Perez, but also what they want to do with Max Verstappen. Just passing by Ferrari here. Yeah, they're all still waiting as well. You could have seen Christian Horner's reaction when they cut him on the pit wall. As much as, you know, there's frustration for Checo, it's that, the drivers have, they all make mistakes, but, it's just getting Checo over it. But we're up and running again now. That was,
we will be. You've got 30 seconds.
No, but I was just saying, it's as much getting Checo's head over a little spin. Everyone makes mistakes, but getting Checo's head over that and then into the right space he needs to be for tomorrow. Because, you know, even bearing in mind the podium that was taken away from him with the speeding and the pit lane penalty in Zandvoort, he has been on pretty good form recently, better than in previous races.
Cheers very much, Ted. Track is clear. We're going to restart. Let's hear from Omi, because he's had lunch and he's been in the pit lane watching the session. Omi, what have you made of the session so far?
Hello.
Hi.
I don't really know. Because, to be honest, until that moment, just pretty quiet, another podcasty style one. But obviously Perez causing some heat, and now it's going to be a tiny bit exciting in these last few minutes because they're all heading out on the circuit, but we aren't going to see any of the, most likely not going to see any of the F3 chaos or F2 chaos. But yeah. It's been an alright session, but it's a practice, so. We had one we had Sergio Perez going off, so one of the big hitters, but yeah, it's been an alright one.
And they'll head out there, do one more lap. So basically what we're seeing now, everybody, is a qualifying simulation in its extreme. 3 minutes to go, cars heading out. One warm-up lap, one fly-up, and then a chance for another. So this should be quite interesting for everybody. And they've all headed out there on old tyres. So medium, 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 hard, medium, 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 soft, medium, hard, hard, medium, 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 medium. That's how everyone's going through. So that's how it all goes, as we see up the inside. That's Verstappen lapping the two Ferraris. He's got past as well, quite a couple of them. Now he's got Leclerc behind and Sainz is ahead of him, so they'll get through. Go on, Adam.
Yeah, it's nice to see it. The Ferrari were top, FP2. The Ferrari supposed to go nuts but I think once we know what happens in qualifying, whoever, if Ferrari can get the pole for the Italian Grand Prix, I think that's saying something for Sunday. I think Ferrari can contend. The question is, will.
Quaff Dixon says the Mercedes team are making their fans unhappy and we are getting impatient as well. Certainly as well. Hopefully they'll get their car back up and running ASAP into the last 90 seconds or so of this practice session. As they come through, Max is on a lap time, but he's slow in the first sector. He's on mediums, of course, old mediums. They've done 7, 10, 11, 12 laps they've done Verstappen's medium so far in this session. Looking at it, oh, hang on a minute, I'm on the wrong data. 5 and 4, that's a 9, that's a 10, that's 11 laps he's done on these tyres in this session. I was looking predictably for Verstappen. I was looking P1, but that is Sainz's time. Verstappen's P5. I need to look at on the data tab we've got up here. That gives us all the drivers' tyres information as they come through. Norris, go on. Norris has missed the apex of turn 1.
Yeah, getting a little bit too used to seeing Verstappen on top.
He's
Josh,
P5,
which I think we all are. But Verstappen, if anyone outside of the top 5, this is going to be a Will Buxton quote if I've ever seen one. If anybody outside the top 5 gets a lap time faster than Verstappen, then he'll no longer be in the top 5.
Yeah.
And there is Norris going over the speed bump and locking up into turn 1, as you just said. Good to see what happened there on the replay.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at now. And I understand you. It's not as bad as quote as you think it is, because it's a genuine thing. Being outside the top 5 for Max Verstappen, even in a practice session, is shocking. So you all watch Charles Leclerc. Actually, all watch Fernando Alonso, who's on soft tyres. So could do something as well. Stroll has managed 2 laps, by the way, and only 1 lap at half speed. Stroll's done nothing today with that problem and sitting at FP1. That's the risky run, but Stroll luckily does have track knowledge. If this was Vegas, I'd be worried. A new track with no data.
And I know speed traps aren't that significant because it's all about the whole track. But Albon very wide, maybe a little bit too wide as he comes across the line to take the checker flag. But Alexander Albon top in the speed trap with 216 miles per hour, Adam.
That's very good.
I think this is going to be fun. And for you folks who are watching, all of us are, Josh B has suggested for Vegas that we all wear tuxedos. So you want to see all of us look like we're dealing Limit Texas Hold'em poker.
That's funny.
You could get that. You could get that chance. So, but if you're not already a subscriber here to JB Motorsports, tell your friends and tell your family. We got a lot of motorsports coverage happening this weekend in all forms of motorsports. So, subscribe to JB Motorsports here on YouTube and also on Twitch. And we're home for all motorsports across the globe.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Absolutely. Virtual safety cars been deployed as well. Let's hear from Max.
Did you learn anything? No, not really. Yeah, well done.
Probably.
JP is so funny.
Probably where the main cheesiness on the radio originated from in this modern era of F1 for Max Verstappen, and the other drivers just learning from Max Verstappen how to take the mickey a little bit on the radio messages. But as a fan's perspective, it is quite funny to hear. And it's also good to hear that the team have got a little bit of banter between them, because that also has a good link. You have to have a good link between your engineer and your team to the driver, it helps with your results. If you don't have that good bond, then it affects your performance.
Here's the results then, ahead of practice 2. It is Ferrari who are Forza at the top. It's Carlos Sainz on a 1:21.355. 19,000 off, it's Lando Norris. And Sergio Perez, despite hitting the wall, makes it a Red Bull third. Oscar Piastri is fourth. Max Verstappen is slipping down to 5th place. Never got a clean lap in on his soft compound tyres. Charles Leclerc is 6th. Alexander Albon impressing once again in the Williams in 7th. Fernando Alonso is 8th. George Russell 9th. And Nico Hülkenberg rounds out the top 10. Kevin Magnussen is 11th from Valtteri Bottas in 12th. Pierre Gasly is 13th with Yuki Tsunoda 14th. Esteban Ocon 15th. Logan Sargent 16th. Lewis Hamilton so far down in 17th. Setup changes affecting him. Liam Lawson 18th. Zhou Guanyu 19th. Lance Stroll stopped. No time set. No running at all for him today with a fuel pump issue as well. So looking ahead in towards practice 3 tomorrow, I'm going to ask you to pick a poll, both Adam and Josh and Omi. Starting with you, Omi, in the pit lane. Who's your prediction for pole position?
Well, probably Ferrari will get close, probably McLaren will get close, probably Aston Martin will get close, probably they'll all get close, and then right about a few seconds after that, Verstappen, last car over the line, will take it back away, like what he likes to do by a few thousandths of a second. So, yeah, gonna be interesting, but I'm mainly looking forward to the F2 and F3, because even if someone else gets pole tomorrow, for me, Verstappen's still winning the Grand Prix, so I guess we'll get a bit of excitement in qualifying, but my main focus goes to F2 and F3 for tomorrow.
Josh T, what about you?
Yeah, I think Verstappen's just going to take it at the line, as Omi said, but it's the Monza curse happens on the Sunday in the race, not on the Saturday in qualifying, so I expect a strong qualifying from Max Verstappen, but I expect the Monza curse, maybe even if it's just a spin, and he is able to keep it going and maybe take the win after that, they will just spice things up a little bit and give us maybe something to think about. Maybe Max Verstappen won't win and won't get the achievement that he's been wanting to get.
Adam, what about you?
Well, I said Max Verstappen was not going to win the pole position for the Italian Grand Prix, so I'm going to go out and say Carlos Sainz. After what he did here in FP2, he really surprised me. So I'm going to say Carlos Sainz from Ferrari wins the pole, and Max Verstappen starts alongside.
It's going to be a great weekend. I can't wait to see. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Josh T. Thank you, Omi. Later on tonight, you can join IndyCar at Portland as well. We'll be live for the first practice session. Still don't know if it's from IndyCar Radio or us broadcasting because of how late it gets, especially with delays that could happen. Most likely, IndyCar Radio will take us, and you'll have me and Adam as well, and plus team members from Grid Network across for the weekend. Well, thanks to all of you for joining us. It's a great day of motorsport as well. Coming up, we've already crowned a champion, but can Max Verstappen get fight back? Ferrari on home soil looking good. We'll see you tomorrow for practice 3. Take care. Bye-bye.